There's a ton of comics fans in Chicago, but they are very, very, very disturbingly loyal to their comic shops.
Come on and visit for any occasion. Don't keep patting down waiting. Comics and conversation. Keep the conversation moving along. Keep reading comics, keep your local store strong. If it's hard, then it's a job for the challengers. Comics and conversation, y'all.
From Challengers Comics and Conversation in Chicago, this is Contest of Challengers. And now, here are Patrick Brower and W. Dal Bush.
Okay, Dal, this is it. The last Contest of Challengers of 2018.
Finally.
What do you have to say to 2018 on the way out?
Thanks, but no thanks.
Pass. That's what I got. And I don't think it would be out of character for us on the last episode of 2018 to start with some trash talking, some bad mouthing,
Okay.
some bad breaking, if you will. And I think, I don't know, I'm going to randomly pick a target without no consideration whatsoever. I'm just going to reach into the ether and pull out Diamond Comics.
Okay.
Diamond Comics is the main distributor for comics in the direct market, which are comic stores and hobby shops.
Yep.
You can't run a store without having a Diamond account because they are the exclusive distributors of comics from Marvel and DC and Image and Dark Horse, and it goes on. So good luck trying to run a comic book store and not having those things. You could do it if you were a comics and games and something else, probably.
Even then, it would be really tricky to do because most of those combination stores, most of what they carry for comics is going to be Marvel, DC, Image, IDW.
Now,
Premier Publishers of Diamond.
so many of our retailer brethren and sisterin, is there a better word than brethren? Because I don't want to put a masculine connotation to the group.
Colleagues.
So many of our retailer colleagues will blame Diamond for everything. And Diamond gets a lot of things wrong. But they get a lot of things right. And when I really dig into it and look at it, they say there's 3,000 stores in the direct market. I think that's high. And there's multiple accounts and whatnot. But I was going to say 2,500, but no, it's more than that. Let's say 3,000. There's 3,000 stores. So there's 3,000 Diamond accounts, roughly, give or take.
For the sake of argument, sure.
Yeah. So Diamond has 300 clients. I'm sorry, 3,000. 300. They act like it. They have 3,000 clients. That's not a whole lot when you consider the grand scheme of the world. But that's the comics market. So, for example, Comic Suite, which is their RMS and Comic Suite. Comic Suite is their point-of-sale program made for the comics industry. Not everybody uses it.
No.
Not even half the people use it.
I'm sure a very small percentage of comic shops actually use it.
So what is their incentive to make it better? The handful of stores that use it, handful is a vast exaggeration.
Well, we don't know the exact number,
But
at least not that I've seen.
Why should they care?
In theory, the reason they would care is the same reason Marvel cared about comic shops getting cash registers back in the 80s. Being able to do your business more efficiently and, in the present, track your inventory more accurately means, as a store, you're more likely to be solvent and, as a result, able to be a customer from Diamond Comics distributors for the future.
Well, Diamond doesn't care if you're solvent. They'll give credit to anybody. They'll let people go under owing them millions of dollars. They don't care. And it's evident in so many little ways. I don't know. I'm just going to pick a random example out of nowhere. Just
the ether, once again.
Just, sure.
As long as your hand is there.
My hand is in the ether.
Yeah, just grab one more thing.
Packing of a box. We got in a reorder today.
I gathered.
So, fine. They come in a box. I get it. Diamond makes custom boxes that are the width of a comic and the length of two comics, or, depending on how you measure. Two comics side by side, two piles, fit into a box, and then two of those boxes fit into another box, right? Well, books have spines. Comics have spines, graphic novels have spines. and the spines are thicker. So I understand flipping the books so the spines are in different areas to prevent what we call spine roll, so it doesn't, all the staples don't stack up on one side.
Sure.
I get that. But what I don't get is turning them upside down when not changing the spine.
Yeah, that's weird.
There are so many graphic novels in these boxes that are just upside down. Not flipped so the spine's on a different side, just upside down. Are you telling me they come off the shelf upside down?
I doubt it.
Why are they upside down?
They're usually not even on a shelf. They're in a box.
Right.
They just pick them up.
And it's...
We were at the Olive Branch packing facility last year when they had switched it over to the new, more efficient format. But one of the things they mentioned, even when they were giving us the tour, was a lot of the people they hire are just people who move around from different warehouses in that kind of office park area. So, they might hire people that have just been packing auto parts. And it's a process to not only get them to understand the differences between comic SKUs, but also to say, look, you can't pack this the way you would pack a muffler or a box of printer paper.
Man,
or
I gotta tell you, if I was
whatever.
unpacking a box of oil filters, I would want them all facing the same way. So the barcode's all in the same size. It's all for it's just common sense that I think, but that's just it. I think it's common sense. Mm-hmm. But it's not. For example, non-diamond example, go figure, be surprised.
Different ether.
There was a dad and his kid shopping today. The kid had a gift card to spend.
Neat.
And the kid buys some Spider-Geddon books. And then they see the poster rack and they want to exchange the comics for a poster. Fine. But then it gets rung up, and they had a long discussion about the poster being $1 more than the kid had, so the dad would lend him $1, blah, blah, blah. So it gets rung up, and the dad is shocked. And he goes, how much is a poster? And it's $11.99. No, it's $9.99. No, it's $11.99. I show him, look, here's the price sticker on the barcode. No, the sign at the poster rack said $9.99. And I said, there's no sign on the poster rack. Each poster is individually priced. They're different prices.
Sure.
No, but the sign said $9.99. I'm like, there's no sign.
Yeah, what sign?
Yeah, there is a sign all the way in the back of the poster rack. And I go, you know what? Never mind. Follow me. I'm going to show you. The very last thing in the poster rack
Are the sleeves for the posters?
are the 24 by 36 inch top loaders for posters. And those are...
$9.99.
And the sign on the front says 24 by 36 poster top loaders, $9.99 each. So they dug through all the posters, saw that, and said, every poster is $9.99.
People see what they want to see.
That's exactly right. And my point was, he saw $9.99, he didn't read the sign. And even if you don't know what a top loader is, there is a picture of it on the sign to help you.
I guess the thing was that he wanted to pay $9.99, so
Right.
he looked for any evidence that would back up that theory of his.
Yes.
That these should cost $9.99.
Yes.
Oh, look, here's the thing. It says $9.99. Ergo, they must all be $9.99.
I told the story last week. I don't remember if it was just to you or if it was on the podcast of somebody shocked at the price of an enamel pin being $10 when there's a price sticker on the back that says $10.
Yep.
And there would be, when we didn't have enamel pins, we just had the pins and buttons in the little drawers. It said pins and buttons, 99 cents. I say pins and buttons because people call them different things.
They do.
Like gift certificates versus gift cards.
Yeah.
And people would take from the bottom drawers that used to have different things that would say, hey, this Tokidoki keychain is $6.99.
Sure.
So they take it out there and say, but the sign says it's 99 cents. That is neither a pin nor a button. Mm-hmm. It is a keychain. But you're right. People just see what they want to see. But Diamond's packing of the boxes is really inconsequential to why I brought them up. That's just a thing I noticed today and thought, you got to go out of your way to do this. You're making more work for me for no reason.
I was wondering what this complaint was going to be because I didn't see any sort of damage email.
No, there were no damages.
So I was surprised that it sounded like this was going to go to everything was packed terribly, a bunch of unsellable merchandise, and I'm thinking, you didn't report any of it that I saw.
Right.
So...
It was, there were no, I thought there were 2 shortages, but those were things packed in a different box from what the packing slip said.
Sure.
It worked itself out.
Okay, good.
But that was just an example of a random thing Diamond does that makes me scratch my head. Here is the bigger complaint. these are some weird weeks because of the holidays.
They really are.
Shipping is awkward and different, and we talked about it a lot last week, or the week before, or something. I don't know. We talked.
Somewhere in December.
We talked about it. Well, because Christmas and New Year's are both Tuesdays, and Tuesdays are the days we get our books, things had to be changed. So for the week of Christmas, we actually got that product in on the 19th and had to hold it until Christmas. No big deal. It was a box and a half of stuff.
Like 10 books.
Yeah, nothing that big of a deal at all. Now, next week's books, the books that come out on January 2nd, we would normally pick those up on January 1st. January 1st is a holiday, so nothing gets shipped. Shippers aren't open. So Diamond released the product on Friday, December 28th, 29th?
28th.
28th, right? Only they released it at 2 o'clock.
2 in the afternoon.
Now, that's an inconvenient time.
For us, anyway.
Yes, I would gather for most people. But yes, just for us, because this is our comics industry business podcast on the Yak Channel Podcast Network in Chicago. And I realize that we call it a business podcast, but it's really just a venting platform. And I'm fine with that. So, listeners will recall recently we were told we could have Monday delivery because the books were already there. That got taken away, but the way the conversation with the people at the pickup point ended was basically, look, we don't care. Do what you want. Well, we opted to go back to Tuesdays. We're not causing any problems.
Right.
Cut to Thursday, the 27th of December, and I said, I bet the books are there. I'm going to go get them. So I went to the bank.
Mm-hmm.
I got our check.
Mm-hmm.
In the past, Christmas week has the lightest traffic to get to Geodis of the year. There would be days that it was a joy driving to and from. And granted, a lot of that was early in the morning. The early morning days or going earlier.
Sure.
I didn't leave until about, 1:30, 2 o'clock yesterday.
On Thursday?
Yeah, on Thursday. And I figured, it's still a holiday week, right? Half people are off. A lot of people are still out of town, that kind of stuff. There was pretty rough traffic going and coming. So I walk in, and immediately the woman that we deal with looks at me and just shakes her head.
No books.
And then she has a different warehouse guy come to me and say, sorry, man, we can't let you in. And I can see the books.
Oh. Whoops.
The books are there. The books are all there.
Uh-huh.
And he goes, I can't believe they didn't tell you. It's not until tomorrow. Now, I wasn't going to say, yes, they told me.
Yeah.
I just let it go. And I go, so I can't get them? They go, no, not until tomorrow. Not until tomorrow at 2 o'clock.
Uh-huh.
I'm like, wait, seriously? Like 2 o'clock? Because our original plan was for me to go Friday morning before we opened.
Uh-huh.
Couldn't do that either.
Nope.
Because they wouldn't let anybody in until 2 o'clock. Well, Geodis closes at 4.
Uh-huh.
So I said, look, man, I'm not going to come back till next week. Can you hold them till next week? And he goes, we have to hold them till you come get them.
Are they open Monday?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
So he goes, do you have anybody you can call? If you can call somebody and they call Diane in the office to release those books, we'll give you the books.
No one's going to release them to her.
And I said, I have no one to call.
Yeah.
He goes, you don't have anyone to call? I said, I don't have a customer service rep.
Yeah.
He wouldn't be able to help anyway. There is literally no one I could call that would let me get these books.
Yeah.
And I feel like he's trying to say, just have anybody call and we can give you the books. But I wasn't going to do that because we don't have anyone to get the books. And I was taking a chance that we'd get it. And I even said, like...
It was a gamble.
Right. And at least I got the check.
Sure. Ready to go.
So I don't have to waste time. But, yeah, I went out there and could not get the books, even though...
Dang.
The books were sitting right there. Mm-hmm. And even though the majority of UPS accounts got their books on Monday. On Monday of this week.
The
before
24th?
Christmas.
Really?
Now...
Wow. Because they're not supposed to get them until the 28th.
Right. Well, Dal, don't
Patrick.
forget that the invoice said these books are for sale on the 26th.
Oh, fun.
By mistake.
Mm-hmm.
Remember?
Yeah.
still to this day, there's posts on the board saying, hey, we can put next week's books out, right? Because the invoice said. Even though Diamond sent an email that said, hey, you can't do it, they didn't apologize or say, hey, it's a mistake, they just said you can't do it. Mm-hmm. I guarantee you there are stores. I know there are people reporting stores that put those books out on Wednesday.
Crazy.
Because they got a box of books and it said you can put these out on the 26th. So my issue is that these books were sent out early so everyone could get them early. Stores got them 5 days before we did. Or technically could.
It just goes back to my complaints about not being able to pick up books on Monday. It's not a street date issue. The idea that stores have an advantage or disadvantage by getting books whenever the books get dropped off or picked up or whatever, they all go on sale at the same point. So why are you making stores that can be at the warehouse to pick up their books wait extra days when they're still not going to go on sale until January 2nd? Doesn't matter if you pick them up December 31st, December 28th, December 24th. They're all going to go on sale at the same point. Or they're supposed to. I don't understand well, not everyone can get them until the 28th, so no one can get them earlier than the 28th.
And why?
Even if you're standing right there, separated by a metal fence through which you can see your boxes.
Why 2 p.m.? Why 2 p.m., Dal?
Feels pretty arbitrary.
The books were there.
Yeah.
So if the books were there when I was there on Thursday, the books were there Monday.
I mean, my assumption would be they picked it to a 2 p.m. thing because they talked to drop points, and one drop point was like, we're not going to have them until 2 p.m. So as Diamond seems to operate, if 5 different drop points are being contacted, and 4 of them are like, we'll have them on the 24th, and one of them says, we're not going to get them until 2 p.m. on the 28th, nobody can pick them up until 2 p.m. on the 28th. Doesn't matter where you are or what drop point you go to or what other stores there are. The last possible point is when everybody can pick them up now. It's pretty ridiculous.
It is ridiculous, and
just inefficient.
I understand that this is a rule, that's fine. And the only reason I'm bitching about it is because so many stores had their books on Monday.
I'm just bitching about it because it doesn't really make...
We're getting ours a week later.
It just feels like a weird rule for the sake of rule. Like, I can't see the benefit of it. Like, I can't see the benefit of making people wait. Like, I'm not mad that other stores got theirs early, because it's not going to go on sale till January 2nd anyway.
Right.
I'm upset because you have to go out at a special point to go pick them up when you were right there.
Right.
You had time, you had the check, you were at the place, and the answer was no, you have to come back at 2 p.m. tomorrow. And 2 p.m. tomorrow during business hours when you're actually working.
Right. 2 p.m. when the store is open. At least the other points, I could get them before we're open,
right.
You know?
Yeah. You couldn't even go Friday morning before work because you were told no, 2 p.m.
Right. So had I shown back up at 9 o'clock this morning, they would have turned me away again.
Yeah.
So long story short, we're going to use Monday protocol, and I'm going to treat Monday like Tuesday.
Okay.
And go in and get the books and do all my Tuesday stuff on Monday.
I mean, you don't have to, I guess. Like,
I have to get the books down.
You have to get the books, but I mean, I've got 2 days. I can just work on that stuff. You don't have to do it.
No, I'll do my share. I'm doing my part.
I'm saying you don't have to.
I'm just saying, but I'm saying I won't come in Tuesday.
Right. Well, I'm saying you can just drop the books off Monday and not come in Tuesday. Like, in the same way that
I don't want to work with me so badly.
In the same way that I didn't come in Wednesday the 26th because there was really nothing to do.
Yeah, but I have things to do.
Oh, okay.
I have unpacking and I have my Tuesday tasks to do.
Right, but I'm saying I could do those.
No, I'll do them.
Okay.
How does it feel to have like a week off?
It's all right.
Just all right?
Yeah.
You're not loving it?
No.
I mean, it's not over yet. You still have a day.
Yeah, it's all right.
Are you doing all your festive holiday things?
I don't have any festive holiday things.
So then, no.
No.
I assumed your festive holiday things was catching up on shows.
Somewhat. I mean, just watching stuff on Netflix. That's about it.
So I'm going to talk a little bit about Christmas just because
okay.
I got actual comic-related things. And we get the question all the time, and we ask it all the time. How's your holiday? You know, it's good banter when people come in. Usually the answers on both sides are, that was nice.
Mm-hmm.
And it is. It's nice. You know, it's nice. Sure. And even if it's terrible, you're not going to say, oh, it's terrible.
Yeah.
I mean, if it is terrible, you can say it's terrible. But, like, if it's terrible because there was a big family fight or someone got injured or something, those aren't things people necessarily bring up or whatever.
Sure.
But like if you were sick, like, oh, it was terrible, I was sick or whatever, that's fine. But I like to say that as an adult, Christmas is no longer for me. Christmas isn't for us.
Sure.
Christmas is for the kids. It's the younger people, And my family has transitioned away from everybody buying gifts for everybody to just, my siblings taking care of their family, and I will buy, like I've talked about on this podcast before, I had 27 or 28 gifts to buy this year.
Wow.
But that's a number is way down.
Sure.
But that's people who I work with, and my family members, and assorted friends. It's not a huge list. But we do a grab bag for my family, and even with that, I'll still buy something for my immediate family on top of whoever I get out of the list.
Sure.
Last year for Christmas, I got myself, my brother George, and Parker, my nephew Parker, he of Parker's Pick, really nice backpacks. Bioshock, something? BioWare is the company?
BioWorld.
BioWorld was the company. And I got a Captain America for me, a Spider-Man for George, and a Deadpool for Parker. And I wrapped them up to each of us from Santa, and I put them under my sister's tree on Christmas Eve, because we were at her house. That way they could be discovered, and I could be like, I don't know, they must be, it said from Santa.
Sure.
And I had different people write the tags, so it wasn't in my handwriting. And they went over great. They're nice things. And this year, it was repeated, only not by me. My brother calls me and is like, hey, we found these gifts under the tree. And earlier in the year, George's family was on vacation, and they were at a gift shop that had a Marvel section, and it was one of those, I don't remember, one of those worlds, the not a Disney, but a...
Universal?
That one.
Okay.
I don't remember these things because I never go to them.
Sure.
And my nephew sent me a photo, and there was a Vans shoe display. They had different Marvel shoes. I'm like, oh, those are neat. And there was what I thought was a Captain America one, but was actually an Avengers one. And that's only integral because when I unwrapped the box that Santa had given me on Christmas Eve, it was a Vans shoebox with all Marvel characters on the outside. And I went, oh my God, you didn't. Because I got super excited for these shoes.
Sure.
And I tear open the box and thrust my hand into it, and it's squishy. It's not shoes. I pull it out. It's, in fact, a Bucky cap hoodie.
Nice.
It's a nice hoodie, the Bucky design. And George got Scarlet Spider, and Parker got the Future Foundation Spider-Man, which is a great design.
Yeah, very cool.
Always been a great design. So I thought that was neat. So I got a Bucky cap hoodie, and I wore it to Serpent Crown practice yesterday.
Nice.
And then on Christmas Day, I get a gift from George, and he didn't have me. He just bought something for me. And I open it, and it's like it's a long rectangular box. It's a square box, but it's a long rectangle.
Okay.
And it's got some sort of organic cleaning brand company on the name on the box. And George goes, oh man, I got to tell you, we use that. It's really great. It's a good cleaner. And I said, you're not getting me twice. These are my shoes. And I opened that box, and in it were the Avengers Vans.
Nice.
And they've got Captain America's shield on the heel. They've got Thor's wings on the sides. They're green on the bottom for the Hulk, and Iron Man's repulsor is on the tongue.
Cool.
So both of those for my brother. I got super nerdy things to wear.
Nice.
Very excited. Now I talked to different people. My nephew who wears Vans, and Kent Challenger used to wear Vans. And Kent's advice was, don't wear them as everyday shoes.
Okay.
You'll wear them out quickly. You don't want to break them down. Wear them for special occasion shoes.
Okay.
And he said if you wear them every day, they're good for like 6 months.
That's great.
So I want to keep them a little fresher than that.
Sure.
And then I got a Chris Hero action figure from my nephew. Chris Hero, formerly a professional wrestler from Ring of Honor who's been at Challengers. Now he is known as Cassius Ohno on NXT.
Okay.
Got a Chris Hero doll. It's pretty exciting. I like it when I still get toys. And from you, Dal Bush, I completed my Marvel Legends Fantastic Four set with Mr. Fantastic and the Human Torch. And I gotta tell you, that Human Torch figure, it's pretty fun.
That's great.
Mr. Fantastic is weird because he's got these giant arms. Mm-hmm. And they're rubber, but they're not super bendable.
Okay.
And also, there's no way he stands with those.
Sure.
So you have to leave one down.
Sure.
Like a kickstand. And Dal got me the variant Amazing Spider-Man statue from Kotobukiya. It's the Winter Wonderland statue. Mm-hmm. The one where he's got his scarf and hat and earmuffs. Mm-hmm. And the spider symbol that he's standing on is covered in snow. And eventually, a martial law figure from Unbox. Is that the...
Unbox, I think, is the name of the company that produced it.
Yeah, when that arrives, that'll be super neat. I can't tell if he's a figure or he's just a statue. He comes with all his accessory.
He's very minorly articulated, but he's a figure.
And he's like 7 to 8 inches tall.
Something like that.
Yeah. So I like it. I mean, we sell comics and toys and things, mainly comics, and I like it when people buy graphic novels as gifts. And we've had 5 gift cards redeemed so far since Christmas. But, I mean, getting me a graphic novel is a tough thing to do because I own a store. But getting me toys always works.
Sure.
And you got yourself a ton of toys.
I did, yeah. My policy is that anything I get from like a pre-order or whatever between Thanksgiving and Christmas, I just leave for Christmas. And a lot of pre-orders had come in between Thanksgiving and Christmas, so I had a lot of toys waiting for me that I will take months to open up.
So you didn't just blast them all?
No, I want to enjoy them, so I usually try and do just like 1 or 2 a day and spend some time actually appreciating them so they don't just get opened up and put on a shelf and moved on with.
Christmas as a season, as a shopping season, felt a little better this year than last year.
Sure.
I mean, it's good because last year was terrible.
It was.
And a thing that I've been saying a lot this year is that in recent years, we've only experienced a sales bump 6 days before Christmas, the week of Christmas. And I equate that to, I justify it by saying people that are afraid of, wow, words are tough. When people are afraid that anything they order online isn't going to come in time, they'll go to a local store. But this year I feel like we were busier the week before that, and a little bit less busy the week of Christmas.
Maybe. I didn't look at the day-to-day numbers, but in general, what week would that be? That would be the last week was pretty big. The 24th, the 17th? 17th to the 24th?
Yeah.
Was substantially busy. It was a really big number.
Historically, we used to have really good Christmas Eves. Except the last 2 years, the trend is not that. Mm-hmm. And now those are like less than normal for those days. But still, like you did a decent Monday this year for Christmas Eve.
Sure.
It's weird how it's like the day of the week. The day of the week matters, and the closer it is to a Wednesday, the better it gets. Just because it's Wednesday. This Wednesday, the Wednesday after Christmas, day after. Obviously, it was a very small week we talked about before, and you mentioned earlier in this episode that it was like 10 titles. We didn't do as good as I wanted to do, and we obviously didn't do anywhere near a good Wednesday.
No.
But we did good for not having basically anything new.
Sure. And
what made me happy about the sales on Wednesday was that people were picking up things from the last month, the month before that. Mm-hmm. I was reading a thing David Harper from Sketched had written, and he had said that knowing that this week was going to be dead for him as a normal comic reader, and knowing how full the weeks leading up to it were, he just kept a list of things that came out that he didn't get, so in this off week he could pick them up.
Good idea.
And it would be nice if everyone did that every week. Well, I mean, no, not every week, because then they have to actually come back and get the stuff. But,
yeah.
But, yeah. Yeah. And I wonder how many people will automatically be back to work next week, or they still have that week off because it's New Year's or what have you. School's not back in session yet. Because next week is a normal Wednesday New Comic Book Day. Mm-hmm. So we'll see how that matters. Conan #1 is next week.
Yeah.
That could be fun.
Sure.
I would have read it by now, but it's sitting in a warehouse.
Yep.
I can't get to. Last week we talked about Happy Harbor, the Edmonton store, going away. and it is not.
Oh, okay.
It was bought. Somebody bought it.
Nice.
And is keeping like the name, and like another chain bought it, or another store bought it.
Okay.
But they're keeping the employees, and they're keeping all of the things that they would do, like their artist in residency program.
Sure.
A lot of the things that were exclusive or specific to Happy Harbor, they're doing it. And I forget the name of it, but our good friend Jeff Watkins from Cloud City Comics in New York, he just bought another store as well.
Okay.
And he's doing the same thing where he's buying the store and he's going to call it Cloud City, but he's keeping all the people and he's not changing anything.
Okay.
Because he's letting it be what it was. He just owns it now.
Okay.
So it's kind of neat seeing other retailers step in.
Sure.
And I know we'd never do that. I mean, if we could afford to, we would. You never know. You don't know, do you?
I don't know.
No, I mean, you could know. We were recording this on what would have been Stan Lee's 96th birthday.
Mm-hmm.
So here's to you, Stan.
Yeah.
Dramatic pause as I took a drink. Had you caught up on your comics?
I don't think I was behind in my comics.
I mean, like any earlier this year, you'd said you wanted to read more graphic novels this year.
I didn't.
Okay. Right. You cut to the chase on that.
Yeah. No, like a lot of resolutions, I didn't follow through on it.
Will that be a resolution for next year?
I mean, probably not, because I wasn't successful in it this year.
But that's why you'd want to...
I mean,
second
in
chance it.
general, I'd like to do it, but I'm not going to make it like a rule or like a goal. If it happens, it happens.
Okay. I was attempting to read a single issue comic every day of the year.
Mm-hmm.
And I kept at it for a very long time. And there was even like a day in March, a Saturday, where I missed. I'm like, oh no, I missed one. So I wrote on my calendar, no comic, as a reminder. But I fell off of that later in the year.
Sure.
But I mean, it obviously averages to more than a comic a day. Like how many comics you read on a Tuesday, you know?
More than 7.
Yeah. But that wasn't the point. The point was to read a single comic a day.
Sure.
And I'm going to try to keep myself to that again next year.
Cool.
I think it's a attainable goal. Did you hear about Paper Girls?
No.
It's ending.
I think they'd mentioned that the next arc was going to be the final one.
Yes.
But, yeah, I think that was a little while ago.
It ends at number 30.
Okay. Yeah, I think
We've got
one more volume.
Yeah, 5 more to go.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if it ends right when Saga comes back.
That would be nice.
26 starts in March, I want to say.
Okay.
So March, April, May, June, July.
Yeah, maybe.
We'll see. It's fine that it's ending. It's good that he had an ending.
Sure.
And he had a point to go, but I don't like the idea of a point in 2019 where we don't have Paper Girls or Saga.
Yeah, we'll have to see what that schedule works out as.
Although, to be fair, it's not like Paper Girls is on a Saga level, but it's definitely up there.
Yeah, the graphic novels do really well.
Yeah. Definitely. We had got a couple more in today. Here's a book. Somebody came in looking for Batman Long Halloween.
Okay.
We don't have it.
Okay.
We haven't had it since July.
Okay.
It's in print.
Uh-huh.
We have one on order.
Uh-huh.
We've had one on order since July.
Yeah, that happens too regularly.
Yeah. I hate that it's a thing that we don't find out about until somebody asks. Mm-hmm. And once we put in an order, Diamond will either fill it or cancel it. But they did neither.
Right. No, that happens pretty regularly where I'll find an on-order item where it's in stock at Diamond and Diamond just never filled ours and there's nothing to do but void out the open order in our system and then try and reorder it again.
Yeah. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's inefficient.
I'm not going to, but I should edit this and put it at the beginning of the episode.
Sure.
Where I'm complaining about Diamond. I think it was last year about this time that we were looking ahead to 2018, and we had said that we wanted to make challengers more about experiences because that is what people were looking for.
Sure.
So it's been a year. Mm-hmm. What do you think?
A huge failure.
Yep.
We should not have done it.
Nope.
It was a lot of wasted effort and energy.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Remember, like 10
colossal miscalculation.
10 years or so ago, Brian Hibbs from Comics Experience had said that he really doesn't do events anymore because nobody cares. Mm-hmm. We're at that point.
And now he does a ton of events
And now-
with the book clubs.
You're right. He does the 2 book clubs per month.
Yep.
But that works for him.
Yeah, I hope it's working really well. It seems like it is.
We're not going out of our way to book signings or do things because there's very diminishing returns.
Yeah, I think about it occasionally. Like, I'll see that a writer is appearing at a store someplace, and it's like, well, they're just paying money to bring that person out. We could do that. I mean, there's no reason we couldn't reach out to any number of writers or artists, outside of book launches and whatever, and just say, like, it'd be great to have them for a Saturday to just come out and do a signing, But we've seen the math on it, and it's just like, it would be nice to do, but it wouldn't be profitable to do. It's very hard to look at the numbers on that and see a direct return on investment.
Yep.
It's just a vague sense of, like, you become a place that people can find, maybe. But, I mean, we've been doing it for years, and it never felt like even our biggest signings pulled people into being regular customers. Not reliably, not in any way that we could demonstrate and go, well, that's why it's worth doing.
That was our hope for the experience ideas that we've kept up with.
Just more community stuff, and all of it. I mean, I absolutely appreciate all the people at Challengers, like Donovan, like Samantha, who pitched in and gave ideas and donated their time. Nobody who shopped at our store, outside of maybe Women's Comics Night, and that's got like an asterisk on it, nobody cared about anything we tried.
Yeah, the letter writing night, the comics and correspondence, I still think was a great idea.
Sure, nobody cared.
We never had anybody outside of us come.
No.
One time we talked somebody who's in the store into doing it with us. Oh, wait, that's not true. One time, yes. Yes.
Yeah.
The Springham family came to one of them, and all of them participated. Yeah. And I feel like there should be an asterisk, like they don't count because they come to most of our things, and whenever we're saying nobody comes, we're not talking about them.
No, and we do appreciate it. And I mean, I guess the thing is that we look at for these events is it growing the business? Is it creating new customers? Is it drawing in new people? And there's a thing where it's like, if it's just the same people who show up normally to other things, it's not about trying to wring more money out of those people. Like, right. God bless people who show up to our events, who shop at the store normally. But a lot of the events we do are not necessarily, they're not the goal. Like, it's great if they can find value in it, and it's great if they think it's additive to their experience of shopping at Challengers. But a lot of the things that we try and do with community events, with artist events, is to introduce the store to new people, like to pull in new customers, either for one time or as normal shoppers. So if it's just, a book club where, the same 3 or 4 people show up who would come in anyway, even if it wasn't a book club, I'd rather not just sell them another $20 graphic novel every month.
Right.
That doesn't feel valuable. It doesn't feel like it's worth everyone's time. So yeah, it's hard to not look at artist events the same way because, our experience has been, there's a ton of comics fans in Chicago, but they are very, very, very disturbingly loyal to their comic shops, to the degree that we'll have people sometimes come in and kind of commiserate and just say, I really love your store. It's so great. I've been shopping with my guy for 10 years, and it's like, it's fine if you're having a good experience at that store.
Yeah.
If you're just doing it out of, guilt, that's insane. Don't do that. Don't shop at a store out of guilt. It's a store. It's not your family member. It's not, a friend from grade school. It's a store that you shop at. If you're not enjoying the experience, if you're not getting what you want out of it, whatever that might be, don't do it. But, the idea of doing an event, it means, we have to look at it as, okay, assume only people who shop at Challengers are going to show up. And so we look at the numbers that we sell in these books, and it's like, well, how many more copies could we conceivably sell this book just to people who shop at Challengers? And is that going to offset how much money we had to spend to fly somebody out, to put them up for the night, to drive them around, take them out to dinner, all that stuff. And all the effort we have to do those things. The numbers never work out. The only way those numbers work out is if the percentage of their fans in all of Chicago came out, it would work. But that's not what happens. Maybe some of that's on us. We don't advertise well. I don't know how to get the word out to people reliably enough to get them to come out to an event that we're running. To make it worthwhile to bring out, Saladin Ahmed or Ryan North or, Cliff Chang or anybody else. Like, those are all good people, and we could bring them out anytime we wanted and probably get a small crowd, but it's like, well, it costs us $600 to bring them out. Are we doing $600 extra business off of this? Doesn't seem like it.
Yeah, Third Eye has Jason Aaron for Thor #1. I'm like, hey, good for them.
Or for Conan #1.
Oh, did I say Thor? Damn. Conan #1, yeah.
Sure.
It's like, all right. I mean...
Saladin Ahmed was out at Vault of Midnight for Spider-Man #1.
Wow.
And it's great, but it's just... I mean, everything we've seen from artist and writer events over the last almost 11 years means that if we have Saladin Ahmed out, we sell maybe an extra 50 or 60 copies of Miles Morales #1. It was a $5 book, let's say?
Yeah.
That's $300 retail we just made. That doesn't... Even the retail of that does not cover what it would cost to bring him out.
Yep.
Let alone the fact that, 45% of that is the cost of the book. So the profit is a little over half of that. So, yeah, I mean, it doesn't... The numbers just don't work. They just flat out don't work. But, I mean, it's something I think about. Every few months I look at our calendar and it's not very full, and I see these people going out to, shops in Israel and Michigan and California. And it's like, well, maybe it's time to try that again. Maybe we find one thing where it's like, this is something worth potentially losing $700 doing, just to say we've done it, to do that event, to try and make something out of it. But I think I'd like the $700 more at this point. It's very hard to not like the $700.
Well, let me take this opportunity to Dow.
Mm-hmm.
To Dow. let me Dow right now. Mm-hmm. Let me take this opportunity to announce a new store signing we have. Hooray! Friday, March 8th, in the middle of, yes, that's right, we're doing it again, Women's Comics Month, the return of Lucy Knisley.
Hey, neat.
Lucy Knisley will have her brand new book, Kid Gloves, out by then, and we'll be doing an event with her on a Friday night at 7 p.m., and there's more to this announcement that we don't know what it is yet.
It's going to have to wait until after the holidays.
But I wanted to announce it now because I got an email from a customer with a link to Lucy's Anderson's bookstore signing in Naperville saying, when's your signing? Well, funny you should ask. The week after.
Yeah.
So she's in Naperville first.
That's okay.
But I want to make sure people in Chicago know that we have her. So if they don't have to go out there to do it. And so I followed the link and saw what it was, and it just says, author event, doing a signing, you have to buy the book. Buy the book, get in line. If you bought the book from us before, great, bring it back, bring your receipt. If you bought it somewhere else, buy the book to get it signed.
Sure.
And I like that it's so matter-of-fact, no, this is the way it works. And that's how it works in bookstores all over the place.
Yeah, it's expected. Every bookstore you go to that has a signing, the expectation is, I don't care what you've brought with you, you have to buy the book from us.
But I think there's going to be something else with ours. I'm not sure. We're still discussing it with Lucy and her people.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that came up so far is that Lucy would like to do something a little bit more for it, but we don't know exactly what form it takes yet.
But that is definitely on the books on Friday, March 8th at 7 p.m.
Yep.
And since I did say we're doing Women's Comics Month again, so far we have 8 creators lined up. And each time we've done Women's Comics Month, and I say each time like there's many of them, this is only the 3rd year we're doing it, it takes a different format. This year, because of the layout of the store, we have 2 people each day, and these days are just Saturdays and Sundays. And we start, if we've got a full weekend, that first weekend, we start with Marie Enger, who is the colorist of books like Regression, and she does a lot of her own mini-comic works, a lot of works with vampires and werewolves.
She did some stuff on the Table Titans online comic with Brian Hurt.
And Rachel Bard. So you have 2 very different styles that very first day. That Sunday, the opening weekend Sunday, it's a tag team with Sage Coffee and Bianca Eunice, who will be debuting a joint wrestling project they've done together.
Oh, very cool.
And they both have a varied body of work.
Yeah.
And aside from those 4 creators, we also have, during the rest of the month, we have Kathy Hanna, Andy Bell, Stephanie Myded, and Ashley Woods.
Cool.
Those are the people committed so far.
Excellent.
And more names to be announced as we get closer and as it happens.
Yeah.
So it's great having Lucy for Women's Comics Month in the midst of it all.
That worked out pretty well.
And she was a participant of the month last year as well.
Yeah.
It's just this year she gets her own fancy
Special day.
Yeah, special day. Aside from that, we have the regular Women's Comics Night that happens the second Monday of each month. And the January theme is New Year, New You. Or maybe it should be You Me, New Me, but it's New Year, New You.
Sure.
And I hate that we have to point this out every time. It is for women identifying non-binary people only. Mm-hmm. It is not for men.
No.
And I feel like we shouldn't have to point that out.
No.
But we do.
The fact that we do is why we have to have events that men aren't allowed at.
Right.
I was reading an article today. Just a video game site was doing an overview of 2018 and the various controversies that kind of rocked the video game industry. And it was a lot of stuff. And it was, I'm going to just go over a few topics that I'm not going to elaborate on, but hopefully people who play video games or follow the industry will pick up on. Loot boxes and crunch time, and one very brief mention of a woman who was fired from a video game company for having a confrontation with someone on her Twitter account. The comment section, basically to a person, hey, I really like the article. There's a lot of interesting stuff in here. Don't know if I agree with your take on the woman who got fired. I think there's a lot of context that you're missing, and it's like, oh, Jesus Christ.
Oh, wow.
Like, literally the one thing that a bunch of dudes on the internet had a problem with was a woman got fired due to sexism. Well, Jesus Christ. Like, so predictable you can set your watch to it. It was... And it's great because when you see it all in one place, it's like, are you guys not looking at the other comments? Do you not see how weird it is that the only thing you had a problem with from controversies of 2018, the only one where you're like, let me push back on this, was the one with a lady? Like, none of that seems weird to you?
Wow.
The rest of it, yep, you're absolutely right. A lady got fired. Well, all right, great. That's why we have Women's Comics Month. That's why we have Women's Comics Night. Because dudes just... Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, dudes. All of the dudes.
On the other end of that, kind of, this is a little segue, our good friend Ian Springer was in today, and Ian is somebody that we worked with in our previous lives when he was just a kid. And Ian is an adult now. He's got gray in his hair.
We're all old now.
I mean, he still looks super young, and he's in the entertainment industry. He's in LA, and he's a writer, and he works on major motion pictures, and he's worked on TV shows, and he knows people in the industry, and he's got things cooking, and he's young enough that the things he works on are things that I don't understand.
Snapchat.
What is MySpace?
It's like Friendster.
No, I mean, it's like Gravity Falls, to me, is still a thing that I know exists, but it's so far removed from everybody. Like,
also doesn't exist anymore.
Right, that's my point.
Yeah.
My point is there are so many things that have come beyond it. I'm like, it's like a Gravity Falls type of thing.
Culture keeps moving.
You know, something...
Never stops.
Properties that I could not name. Like, you could give me a list and it's on there and I would not be able to pick it out.
Chuck Austin worked on the new She-Ra TV show.
Really?
Yeah, he's an executive producer on like 3 episodes.
Wow. Yeah, we talked about that.
But he's been a guy who's been working in animation for decades.
Oh, Chuck Beckham.
In the credits, he was listed as Chuckles Austin. But I had to check it in a database. I'm like, it's got to be the same guy, but Chuckles Austin, and on IMDb, like, yep, Chuck Austin. Okay, cool.
So Ian and I were talking about the CW shows.
Sure.
And the things that he watches, the ones he watches and the ones that I watch, and where they overlap, and what he likes, and specific lines of dialogue he likes. And he's got a friend who works on The Flash.
Mm-hmm.
And...
Just say Grant Gustin.
No, a writer.
I know, it's a joke.
Okay.
I didn't think it was Grant Gustin.
It's Melissa Benoist. So, Ian's a lifelong comic fan. Nerd cred runs deep. Also a huge wrestling fan.
Mm-hmm.
And while we're talking about these events, he's referencing the comics they're pulling from, and like, oh, they changed this, they did that, and like,
sure,
really, really showing his love for these properties and the medium that they're in now,
mm-hmm.
both the comics and the TV shows. And I go, hey man, like you write shows and movies for a living. Why don't you why don't you get in the Flash writer's room? And Ian said, you think they need another middle-aged, straight, white guy writing there?
They really don't.
And I thought, oh, yeah, you're right. And, like, his friend...
Like, the Supergirl TV show got demonstrably better when they started letting, like, women executive produce that show. Like, suddenly it was like, oh, these characters are actually somewhat interesting now and have, like, diverse points of view instead of, like, strong women archetypes that men are always writing. It's just, I don't know.
So he referenced his friend who works on The Flash, mm-hmm. and she hits a lot of those boxes, mm-hmm. but she comes from police procedurals. She has no superhero background or knowledge, but she can crank out a cop show a week,
sure,
when needed. So he's like, yeah, they have her for
structure.
That part.
Yeah. Because, I mean, like, you watch these CW shows, the reason why Greg Berlanti can do so many of them is that there's a very specific formula to them. And obviously you tweak different things for different shows. Arrow doesn't do the same kind of stories that Supergirl doesn't do the same kind that Black Lightning does or Flash does. But you look at those CW shows and they have the structure of them, the kind of, like, fill in this grid is the same across all of these shows. Like, it's not a detriment. You can look at nearly any genre and go, okay, well, these are all sort of the same. It's what you do with them that makes them more interesting. Like, so I watched the new She-Ra show.
All of it?
Yeah, it's only 13 episodes. They're 24 minutes each. You can do it in a day. So top level, it's great. The thing is, though, it's produced by DreamWorks, who did the Voltron show for Netflix. And the sensibility is so weird because it is 50% Voltron. Like, the way that the kind of meta arc works and the kind of structure of it, the villains, the war element, the rebellion, the getting the team together, all that stuff is very, very, very similar. Even to the point where when Voltron did their first 3 episodes as one arc and the team finds the lines and whatever, the 4th one is, okay, we formed Voltron, we don't remember how we did that, let's try and form Voltron again. And they do a goofy thing where, like, the lions are jumping on top of each other because they don't know how to form Voltron.
Yeah. It just happened.
There's a thing in, like, episode 3 or 4, after the 2-part premiere of She-Ra, where it's basically like, Adora doesn't know how to turn into She-Ra. She doesn't, she did it in the heat of battle, but she can't just, like, do it on command yet. So there's a goofy moment of her, like, what words does she say? How does she swing the sword? How does she make the transformation happen? So even that is a very, like, yep, that was the Voltron thing. Yeah. But then the other 50% of the show is Steven Universe. It is just, let's make these dorky characters, let's have them, like, play off each other and have, like, really specific points of view. Let's really emphasize the idea of friendship and teamwork and empathy and understanding one another and working to find commonalities rather than just, like, having there be friction in a group. And that's a huge part of the show. And it's also, like, the most 5-star queer show I've ever seen. It's so into the idea of just being a really inclusive experience that it's like there's no judgment on anything. Characters are just who they are, and things don't need to be addressed. It's not, even though it's a show for, I think it's rated like Y7.
Okay.
Like, there's not a lot of very special episode kind of stuff to She-Ra. It's just assuming, like, this is the world everyone lives in. You know, if we treat it as the world everyone lives in, you're not stigmatizing anything, you're not shining a spotlight on anything, you're not othering anybody. You're just saying these are people. These are all people, and they live in a world together, and they have a story together.
That's great.
Yeah, it's really, really good. But
I read the comments about the episodes.
Even though, Noelle Stevenson is someone who's worked in animation and came from comics and stuff, like, I could feel this almost like top-down DreamWorks, okay, we had a success with Voltron, let's do that with She-Ra. And there's enough room for people to kind of tell their story, and what She-Ra's trying to say is not what Voltron was trying to say. But you could feel that structure of, like, this is how we get 72 episodes out of this thing. Or 78? 78. I mean, I don't know if that's what they're going to get, but that's what Voltron, I think, ended up getting. Like, from the start, even though Netflix released it in bizarre ways, they said it's basically, like, 6 13-episode seasons. They're just released however insane way Netflix wants. Like, there's one season, I think it was, like, 6 episodes.
Yeah. And then a really quick
season. And then 2 months later, 7 more episodes came out. And it's like, well, that was season 3, not 3 and 4. But yeah, the idea of, these things having a structure to them, and that's how you get them out the door, like, yeah. But, I mean, sometimes you can see the kind of seams on it of, there's this thing that comes from this show, and then this other thing that comes from a completely different sensibility.
Well, going back to what Ian said, was I just was really happy with his self-awareness.
Sure.
And I was making a comment based off of, like, wow, like, you're super nerdy, you're really good at this,
Mm-hmm.
you should... It's like, they don't need me.
Yeah, they got a bunch of white guy nerds. They're full of that. It's fine.
I appreciate it, even though I was the one who suggested he work there. But it's good. He's got good things. Good things happening. Sadly, this is probably Ian's last time at Challengers that he can predict, because his family is moving. So he was back in town for the holidays because he's an LA guy.
Sure, he could just come to town for Chicago, though.
He could.
He could,
yeah. But that's why I said that he can predict.
Sure.
Can't predict the other ones.
Sure.
But hopefully you, listener, can predict the next time you're going to be in, and you can predict that you will listen and maybe, rate or review us on iTunes. I checked recently. We have 18 ratings.
Is that a lot?
No.
Okay.
For a podcast that's been going for over 9 years, that is not a lot at all.
Okay.
It'd be lovely if people... You don't have to write a review. You can just rate it. That helps. And, like, every podcast is like, rate, review, and subscribe. It helps the algorithm, blah, blah, blah. We're not...
I don't care about the algorithm.
Yeah. But, I mean, I would like...
I don't do this podcast for a living.
What do you do for a living?
This week, nothing. Basically nothing.
So if you want to give us a belated Christmas gift, you can rate this podcast over on iTunes. That would be swell. Whether you do or not, we'll still be here next week, probably. If the world doesn't end, it's Y2K this year, right? Is that not on?
I don't think that's happening anymore. I think that was 18 years ago.
Wait, then who's fighting Naito at Wrestle Kingdom next weekend?
That's Y2J.
Oh,
it's a different one.
I got it.
You see what happens, Naito? Huh? You see what happens? You piece of shit!
Kenny Omega against Tanahashi?
I don't know the rest of the card.
Okay.
We'll figure it out.
Or not. I mean, they'll probably say who's wrestling who when it starts.
That's how we'll figure it out. We'll figure out when the TV screen tells us who it is. It'll, I wonder if, it's Tanahashi, because that's when he wins the belt. What? What's happening?
He deserves it. He's a Kamen Rider fan.
Jay White is the official new leader of the Bullet Club.
And I was really disappointed to see, I think is it Cody against Juice Robinson, I think?
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I don't like Juice Robinson.
Nope.
Once again, they got enough, like, white dudes,
Yeah.
Less of those is
well,
fine.
Cody took Juice's belt.
Okay.
Juice has to get it back.
Yeah.
So Cody can...
He doesn't have to.
Cody can go off and inform All Elite Wrestling, which, as I was telling Ian, I think they dropped the ball by not calling it All Wrestling Elite. So it can be AW.
Sure.
As opposed to...
AEW.
Yeah. AEW. Like, look at the bigger picture. Look at the acronym.
You'd think the guys behind the Bullet Club would be better at branding.
They're not behind the Bullet Club. That's Fergal Devitt. It's Carl Machine Gun Anderson.
That's true.
That's Tonga Lao.
Mm-hmm. Bad Luck Fale.
Bad Luck Fale, yeah. Guys who are still in the Bullet Club. All right, we've digressed enough. Happy New Year, everybody. The Contest of Challengers will return in 2019, although just in its normal next week spot. It'll be a new year, that's all. We're not taking any time off or anything. Just, I don't want people to get worried. People, count on this. They count on us. I count on you. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Thanks for listening.
Keep reading comics.
This has been Contest of Challengers. Thanks for listening. Keep reading comics. Challengers is located at 1845 Northwestern Avenue in the Bucktown neighborhood of Chicago. 773-278-0155. Keep up to date with new releases and events at challengerscomics.com. Like Challengers Comics on Facebook, follow @Challengers on Twitter, and help fund this podcast at patreon.com/challengers.